This is just a few questions, just a few questions, just a few questions from Chicago. And I have Syron Smith on the line. And Syron Smith is the founder of the National Block Club University. Mr. Smith, how are you? And let me ask you something, Mr. Smith. Let's go right into it. We had the riots. We've had the pandemic. Well, the pandemic's still going. The riots are still they're subsiding a little bit. Mr. Smith, Syron Smith, where do we go from here?
Well, Mark, first and foremost, always thank you for what you do. We move forward. We continue doing the work, man. We don't get distracted by things that we can't directly control. You got some young people out here who've been hurt, abused, and bitter. So they're going to act out when given the opportunity to do it. So we don't worry about that. The question for me with our people is, do you know your neighbor on the left and right of you? Are we structured in a way to where we know where the third graders are, fifth graders? Do we know who the retired teachers are, the lawyers? And are we connecting them with the children that want to become that? That's a sustainable, futuristic view other than worry about what's happening right now in front of you.
Yeah, when you say our people, you mean Negroes, African Americans. So some people get mad when I
Yep.
say ADOS.
Well, whatever.
I
Again,
know
I'll
that's
get
a whole
caught
nother
in that.
show, but I'm saying we have to stay focused.
Well, no, I would say black people. I would say black people. And I think it's increasingly evident that we need to be able to say black people. For people who don't feel comfortable saying that, I would say think about 90% in South Africa being black, 10% being white, and the wealth is 90% in the hands of the 10%. Something is wrong. And when black people in the US, no matter if you're part of a black and brown coalition or not, Africa is symbolic of us in the world. We have a country that 10% controls 90% of the money. If that's not a discouraging sign for blacks in America, what is? Because we look for examples around the world of hope, and that does the opposite of that, Mark. So whether you ADOS or Latino Black Coalition, something is wrong that 90% of the wealth is controlled by 10% of the white people in a continent of blacks.
Yeah, okay,
do,
okay.
do you get what I'm
Now I
saying?
get what you're saying, but let me go back to the original question. What do we do now? I know you answered it, but where do we go from here?
So this is what people got to realize. Before you go grocery shopping, Mark, you check the refrigerator. You do an inventory and see what do I need, what I don't need. So that way you don't go shopping and buying stuff you don't need. We have not, number one, created a storage space for our tech people. We haven't created a storage space for our business people, a storage space for our protesting type people. So without the storage, it's like no refrigerator. It don't make sense to go and get nothing because where you gonna put it? What I'm saying for all of us, we have to create the storage where we go put all of our tech people, business people, nursing people. Then we got to go and do the inventory and find out in our household who's what people professions are, and link them. Because here's the problem: you the protesters out there shouting and screaming, and I get it, they upset. But we got some people in that crowd that don't know how to do multiplication. We got some people in that crowd that dropped out. We got some people in that crowd dealing with diabetes. We got people in that crowd dealing with domestic violence. So when you're done looking at that outside problem, it's some stuff happening to you and your loved ones that's not being addressed right now. If we created the refrigerator of all of our nurses and teachers and doctors, now when you're done shouting and protesting, we can treat your personal ills that you have that's going to make you a stronger, stable person. So that's real simple to me. what we got to do,
Okay,
real
yeah.
cut and dry.
Okay, we're going to make this podcast real short. So, last question. A lot of folks don't want to hear, especially if you're very young, teenagers, 20-year. You don't want to hear all that philosophizing. They need a job. They need money. They need to feel respected. Answer those questions, or their questions.
Yeah, and what I just said to you, I'm gonna tie it back to that. If you a 14-year-old that like working with wood, the respect should come from that 70-year-old that's a retired carpenter. I don't need to respect you because I'm in painting. I don't think you should be working with wood, and that's part of our problem. We got to get organized so that the people can give you the cares that you care about in your lane. But you trying to make me care about you, and I'm a painter and you a carpenter, don't mix, don't go together. So again, it goes back to what I said. Nothing you would say, Mark, would get away from that basic thing of getting strategically aligned so people can give you the treatment, the stroking of your ego, whatever you think you need. Let that retiree for that profession do that for you. Because the other people
I know you're trying to bring
they don't
people
care.
together, and what you're saying is nice. But I've been a stupid teenager many years ago, stupid 20-year-old. Some people say I'm a stupid 50-year-old. But the point is, I'm intimidated. I don't have the skill set. I don't have the manners. I don't have the articulation to go to somebody and say, will you help me be a carpenter? Will you help me be a lawyer? Will you help me be an electrician? Will you help me be a plumber? A lot of folks don't have
have to do
the
that.
confidence in themselves to go ask for help and then do
Just
the work.
just text 312-405-8844 me. 312-405-8844, and we'll do that for you. That way you don't have to do it, Mark. Did that help take that excuse away? You can text. You didn't got to call.
It's been a pleasure. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. You came in at the last moment. I can't thank you enough, as I say to every guest. Syron Smith, National Block Club University, and then his phone number will be, you can text him, will be on the bottom of this little video. Syron, I appreciate it, man.
Man, we go rock and roll. Thanks, Mark.